Our research would say that about half of students would say they never read the Bible. We're talking about students that would affiliate themselves with either church and/or Christian faith. So what you might call your typical youth group kid, half of them are never, they just say, I'm never reading it. And we've asked them why that is, and they're saying, I don't know where to begin. It's so overwhelming. We often tell people that work with students, it's like handing someone this big science textbook that's like this thick and saying, read this, it'll change your life. My story is, as a youth pastor, almost 20 years ago, I set out to establish a culture where students read the Bible in our youth ministry. So I looked around for curriculum. I looked around for resources. What can I find that can engage my students in reading the Bible and that our ministry can kind of attach itself to? And I couldn't find anything. And so I ended up writing it and then have rewritten it over the years. So over the last 20 years in different iterations, currently it's called Soul Exercises, but the whole idea is to get students to read the Bible throughout the week on their own, and then to connect that to a small group experience, and then to connect that to a big room youth group experience. And when we started, we had a small percentage that would read the Bible. I would say 10 to 20% regularly that initially were the early adopters. And after a couple years, we bumped that up to 25 to 30, about a third. After 3 or 4 years of just developing that culture, we ended up at around 75% of our students that would engage the Bible regularly throughout the week. There are 3 main reasons that we found why people don't read the Bible. They don't know where to start, they don't know how it applies to their life, and they say they don't have the time for it. Now the last one I kind of throw away because that's a priority issue. So I deal with that separately, but not knowing where to start is having good resources, and not knowing how it applies to my life is good Bible study practices. So we've spent a lot of time and resources in helping students having good practices to read the Bible. Some of the good practices would be reading the Bible in larger chunks, not just taking a verse, but read through a book at once and find the themes, ask good questions. If you ask bad questions, you get bad answers. So a lot of times, people that read the Bible, they ask bad questions. So we train students how to ask good questions. The other thing I would say about Bible engagement is that I say to youth pastors and youth leaders, youth workers, churches, that I think the #1 goal of any youth ministry is to create an environment where they can get their students to read the Bible. I think if we could do that, that's a hill that's worth climbing, that's a battle that's worth fighting, and the results, and I can speak from personal experience, are remarkable. What we saw change numerically, the growth that we experienced, students more engaged in their faith journey with Christ, sharing their faith more, inviting students to youth group, and serving at a higher level. All the metrics that people want in churches happened when we did that one simple thing, and that's get students to read the Bible.